All right, welcome back to the Elias Macco Show. Grocery store on St. Catherine Street East. It's near Fulham, actually. It's pretty close to the station here, actually location-wise. Well, they're taking a new approach to help consumers. It's called a pay-it-forward model, and an idea that relies on consumers' generosity and altruistic nature to help those in need, while simultaneously keeping a grocery store afloat. Let's go now to Beccah Frasier, Executive Co-Director of Carrefour Solidaire Community Food Center. Beccah, welcome to the program.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Tell me about the idea here of Trois Paniers. That's the name of the alternative grocery store that you've got running, Trois Paniers. Tell us about Trois Paniers.
Yeah, so we are a social enterprise, so we're a not-for-profit organization, and we opened our doors at Trois Paniers in January 2022, so we've actually been open for 2.5 years. And we have our particularity is that we have a solidarity pricing model. So we're open to everybody. Everybody is welcome to come and shop with us like at any grocery store. I buy my groceries at Trois Paniers, actually. And you just you do your groceries like in a normal grocery store. And when you get to the cash register, we'll show you 3 totals. And you get to choose basically which total you are ready to pay depending on your situation.
Let's talk about the 3 totals, right? So someone's shopping, they're presented, okay, here are the 3 options. Tell us about those 3 different options and how you come up with those different prices.
Totally. So the lowest price is called the solidarity price, and that's pretty much the minimum you can pay. And that's a subsidized price, so it often reflects, the at-cost price that we're paying to our distributors or our producers. And then, so we're really giving the best price we can, and that's often going to be less than you'll find at major grocery stores. And then the middle price is the suggested price. So that price includes like a profit margin of 30 to 35%, which is pretty standard for a social enterprise like us. So that helps us pay the electricity and our cashiers and all the rest. It helps the business roll. And then we have this slightly higher price called the pay it forward price, which is more of like a 40 to 45% margin. And that really helps directly subsidize that solidarity price.
And how does it play out when it was launched? And how do people that come into the store? Do you have a breakdown of the options that people choose when it comes to paying?
Yeah, totally. We were really curious how it was going to play out when we opened because we think we came up with this model. It's inspired loosely by sort of the co-op model where there used to be a member price and a non-member price, but we didn't want people to have to become members to shop there, And so, and also pay what you can models, but, with pay what you can models, you often don't know what is a fair price, what you're supposed to be contributing. So we wanted to give people these 3 prices as guidelines. So we were really curious whether people were going to understand the model and how they were going to interact with it. So we did, we tracked our numbers pretty carefully. And after year 1, we did a big analysis and we found that about half of people, so about 50% of people pay that middle price, that suggested price, which is awesome, right? Because that price really helps us roll and make sure that the business can keep running. And then the split was like pretty even, like 25% and 25% on either side. So, we really found that people are like willing to pay that higher price if you have, we're in a neighborhood that's really mixed. I mean, it's right next to your offices. Yeah. There's a lot of people in this neighborhood that are living in food insecurity. They're having trouble making ends meet at the end of the month, And then side by side, we have all these new condo developments where people are coming in with a little bit more, breathing room in their budget. And so we really wanted to create a space where everyone is welcome. Everybody is invited to come in and shop. There's, it's a beautiful space. There's beautiful things on the shelves. But everybody has a different role to play depending on their situation, right?
And I just want to echo what you said, because if I exited our offices here, walk north a couple of blocks, end up on St. Catherine Street. If I walk a little bit further east, I'll end up at your grocery store here. And you're right about the sort of flux and the difference. You've got people on all different types of the economic scale, right, in the neighborhood. So it is really interesting. What so we know how much people pay, but do you have a breakdown like demographically when it comes to economically how people are doing, the people that do shop at your store?
Yeah, actually, so we run this grocery store, but it's embedded in the middle of our community food center, right? So we have this bright yellow facade. We're really easy to pick out on the street. And in this community center, we not only have this grocery store in the front, but we also have a kitchen in the back, a beautiful big production and workshop kitchen. We also have a dining room. So we run community meals twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays for lunch. So people can come, pay what you can, like a voluntary contribution model. So people come and eat with us. And that's where we see it actually, I think, the most, this sort of social mixity and these, this idea of neighbors supporting neighbors, even though they're in different economic situations. And it's kind of magic. Like, we have people coming to eat with us that, are wearing ties and work down the street at a bunch of the offices or, whatever. Yeah. And then we also have people that come because they need the meal, and it's a really important, cheap or free meal for them in the week. And those people, contribute different amounts to the pot, and that's okay. That's expected, and the system is built for that. And so I think it's really nice to, I don't know, I encourage you to come eat and shop with us and experience what it feels like to be able to, engage in a space that's open to everybody, but that really creates an opportunity, facilitates that opportunity for mutual support and for supporting your neighbors. Yeah.
We're with Beccah Frasier, co-executive director of Carrefour Solidaire Community Food Center, talking about the grocery store they run called Trois Paniers. And Beccah, right, you don't want to keep this a secret, right? You're on the radio right now. You do want everyone to know about this and take part in something unique that's going on here.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the idea, right? Where like a lot of traditional food security programs are really, they're exclusive to people that are struggling, and that's important too, right? But this space is really designed for everybody to come in and participate and have that direct, you can literally have a direct impact positive impact in your community if you come and pay it forward price, right? Like you are participating in the well-being of your neighbors. So
can I ask you, Beccah, since you've launched, are you getting calls maybe from other cities, maybe it's other parts of town, or other people who've heard about your model, asking you questions, maybe wanting to bring it to their community?
Absolutely, and that's part of the fun, right? Is like, as an organization, we're really interested in experimenting and piloting things that might be a little risky, right? But sometimes a risk is worth taking to test a new idea and try and create some conversation around it, right? So there's another grocery store that just opened called Tisseré in St. Henry that I encourage people to go check out, and we've been chatting with them about their model that's just slightly different, but just as interesting. And we've gotten a lot of folks asking us to share information and stuff across the province and outside of it as well. So that's a really fun part of the work. Yeah.
And when you have those discussions, is there anything that is like top of mind that you tell other people, like, oh, before you start this, you need to know this?
There's so many things, but I think one of the best things we did when we opened was we spent a ton of time on the sidewalk outside of our bright yellow facade, just talking to people from the community about what we were doing and what was going on in this space, and I think that really helped the local residents understand what we were about and that this was a space that we were building for them, and to see them appropriate the space 2 years later is just really moving to me.
So, Beccah, I can say this. I hear it in your voice. It seems like you're so welcoming, that the grocery store and your community food center is so welcoming. And just how you described the bright yellow facade, even that, I'm looking at the photos, by the way, of it, and it's just welcoming and inviting. And I also hear it in your voice. So I'll give the address here for our listeners. It's 2375 St. Catherine Street East. That's between Fulham and Dufresne Street. So 2375 St. Catherine Street East. And thank you for coming on the show. It certainly sounds like a welcoming, inviting place. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
That is Beccah Frasier, co-executive director of Carrefour Solidaire Community Food Center.